TD Synnex Inspire. Great event this week. Greenville, South Carolina, headquarters of TD Synnex. They were gracious enough to have me. There was 4 podcasters there, maybe 3. It was a great time. Attention to detail. The team that ran it, absolutely spectacular. The team that brought me there was gracious. They were accommodating. Nothing fell through the cracks. Guest setup. Everything. It was a flawless event. And when I talked to the attendees, it was the best one ever. The big vendor pavilion, lots of great vendors there. It's just a really, the energy was so up. There was a DJ. I'm so glad podcasters were there. We're seeing more and more podcasters at every event now. If you go to an event and there's not a podcast, there's not at least one podcaster, there should be multiple. You should reach out and let them know. But it was a great event. Did 6 great conversations. And I really, enjoyed every single one, all really completely different. Francisco Criado was incredible. He was in distribution, left, and came back. Really great insight. Discipline, distribution, and the future of AI. TD Synnex has some great press releases that were announced. One is called AI Pioneers. Great program. We talked about it. So did Jessica, was the next guest as well. Their tech report was just launched that they put in so much time and energy. Next guest, Jessica McDowell, was an absolute delight. She was really straightforward. We opened up with her daughter just won a pageant and how that what's around that and how that works, but just absolute delight. Smart as nailed. My goodness. Really smart, really driven, really great conversation with Jennifer. I was able to talk to her a little bit afterwards as the days went on, but just really engaging. And of course, Gary Pattenbaum from New York, of course. We call the title. By the way, Jessica's title was on partner growth and AI cybersecurity. Gary from Brooklyn to boardroom. Gary Pattenbaum on partner success and growth. But Gary was an absolute delight. We had a lot in common. We're both from the Northeast. He went down south and how he got involved. He's been in distribution for 30 years, but just a great conversation with Gary. Very, very direct, knows distribution very well, wants to expand. We talked about MSPs and partnerships with partners. Great conversation with Gary. Then Terry McGill came, who is an MSP and a VAR there in Texas, in the Dallas area, DFW. I was able to meet him. I love talking with MSPs. How did they start? Where are they? Great conversation with Terry from Mesquite to Managed Services. Mitch. Oh yes, Mitch McCauley was great too, from Lenovo. Fascinating background. Mitch grew up in Eastern Europe a little bit, and then had his formative years in Western Africa, then came to United Kingdom, then came to the States. Interesting and very fascinating discussion with Mitch. Bridging cultures, building partnerships, lessons from Mitch McCauley. Great conversation with Mitch. And then it rounded out with Rob Purcell. Great conversation with Rob. Every day, 22 veterans commit suicide. Rob came up to me at the podcasting booth and said, "Look, Joe, there's something I want people to know. You have to understand this. He's got a not-for-profit, 22 Vets it's called, there in the Chicago area, and he also has a technology company as well. And one helps the other. 22 Vets Technology." Great conversation with Rob. He's a vet himself. What the plight is there, how we can help more, but just wonderful conversations. 6 of them there in Greenville, South Carolina. Really enjoyed it. Thanks for watching and listening. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz, and here's my 45-second introduction. After starting my business in the 90s, I started developing poor habits of eating in my diet because of working way too much. I found myself at 340 pounds. The doctor told me if I don't lose the weight, I'm not going to see my daughter graduate. I took the next 7 months, lost 130 pounds. People ask me, how'd you do it? What's the secret? I need to lose weight. How'd you do it? How'd I lose the weight? Just one word: discipline. I've had other successes in life, and I attribute them all to discipline. Now, I'm not the king of discipline, but I believe that it can help all of us. Friends convinced me to start a podcast. The podcast mission: How do we better ourselves and society? I talk to interesting people in health, fitness, sport, wellness, business, technology, science, art, and culture. And I eventually ask them how discipline plays a role in their life. Podcast vision, growth through learning from others. What do you like to barbecue? When I think San Antonio, I don't think there's much barbecue as like Dallas and.
There is. I'll tell you what. San Antonio, it's also famous for barbecue. A lot of people just
Really?
think Austin or Dallas or some of the other places
yes.
out in the country, but it's amazing. So we do everything from your classic, steaks to hamburgers to really pretty cool smoking. I mean, I love smoking.
Really?
Chickens, pork shoulders, brisket, kind of across the board. And even though I grew up in Los Angeles and I lived in Miami for 9 years, I'm actually okay at the smoking. So even my Texan friends give me some accolades, which I'll take anytime.
So tell me, Francisco, you start the smoker. It's like tops off at like 200 degrees.
No, you can get the smoker pretty hot depending on what type of smoker you have.
I
usually smoke things at around 220-ish.
220.
210 to 220. Just depends on what I'm doing.
So let's say it's chicken. So is it chicken breast? Is it bone in? Is it
I usually do the whole chicken. I do the beer chickens.
Whoa.
So I put the chicken, they have a little metal contraption. I put the beer in there, stick the chicken on, I put on my rub, all the ingredients.
Right.
And then
skin on
everything. And then usually what I do is with that I usually do a combination of applewood and maybe a little bit of cherry. And they go relatively fast. I get the smaller chickens, and those are a favorite. It's the juiciest chicken you'll ever.
Really?
Yes.
And you don't wrap it in anything?
I don't. No. Some people wrap like their pork shoulders,
right?
Briskets. They call it the Texas crunch. So they do that, and it'll help eat up the especially with the pork shoulder. I don't know if you smoke.
No, but I would love to.
There's a point when you're smoking it, you think you're making progress because you're trying to get it to a certain temperature. And then all of a sudden, the fat will actually melt and it'll start to cool off the shoulder. So you get a stall when you're smoking, which a lot of people do. They call it the Texas crunch. They'll wrap it in like aluminum foil.
Right.
And then you'll get to that temperature quicker.
Wow.
I have to admit, I've done the crunch many times. But the really, the traditional smokers don't always... they don't look fondly upon people doing that.
There's segmentation. I'm sure there's factions. Yeah. Absolutely. So that chicken that you put in the smoker 220. How long does it go?
Depends on how many pounds, but usually I can get those done in about 3.5, 4 hours.
3.5, 4 hours. And the smoker, I'm not even sure if I think I've seen it. It's outdoors. It can never be indoor, right?
Correct. Always outdoors.
Always outdoors.
There's a ton of wood and charcoal, and it's yes, it needs to be out there. You'd be in trouble with your
right.
If it was indoors.
If it was indoors, yeah. And then after the 3 or 4 hours, do you let it sit room temperature for a while?
We do. I usually let it sit minimum half an hour.
Wow. And that'll feed the whole family.
Oh yes, and I always overbuy.
Yeah.
I don't
better to over than under.
Yeah. We don't want to have a situation where you have to do the host holdback. You can't eat too much so everybody else can eat. So my wife gets after me, but we have good leftovers.
And you take that chicken, and does everything just fall off the bone?
It practically falls off the bone.
It's amazing.
I'm not exaggerating. It's the juiciest chicken you've ever had.
Amazing.
And it's so easy to make, and it's so inexpensive. So you get these chickens for dirt cheap, or a pork shoulder that's, hey, for a really nice pork shoulder, you're probably paying $25.
Right.
$5. You'll feed a massive party with 25 people.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So you mentioned you're in Miami. I'm in Tampa. So I'm from the Northeast. So if I put it outside, I'm near a big pond. Will animals come?
No, you'll be okay.
Because it's too hot.
I can't vouch for the alligators, but
no, we got no alligators.
I think you'll be perfect.
The ducks and the cranes.
Yeah, so I'm in San Antonio, Texas, but I did live in Miami, like I told you.
Yes.
Years. My brothers are still there, my younger brothers, and they smoke things all the time.
No problem.
Good shape.
I really got to look into that. It sounds well. Now I'm getting hungry. Francis, so we're here in Greenville at TD Synnex Inspire, big, great event. What are some of your goals this week?
So I'm newly back to TD Synnex. I worked here for many years. I worked here through Avnet, then Tech Data when they acquired Avnet, and then Tech Data and Synnex merged. I've been gone for 2.5 years. I was actually at a company called Checkpoint Software. It's one of the leading cybersecurity companies, and I led their global channel.
I see.
This is my 3rd week back. So for me, probably the most important thing is listening, learning, and just making connections again with all my vendor friends and my partner friends here at Wallet Inspire.
Okay, that answers a lot of questions because your LinkedIn talked a lot about Checkpoint. And I was thinking, okay, well, maybe he's still there, but like representing. But and how long were you there? Great company. You mentioned that.
Yeah. Great company, going through a lot of transformation.
Yeah.
In my role, I was able to help drive some of that change, and we completely redid our channel program, go to market. They made a lot of strategic acquisitions, and they're traditionally a network security company.
Right.
And now they have really the whole plethora of security products. And so just educating our partners at the time on the fact that it's not just a firewall company, there's cloud security, endpoint, email. And that really translated even into this job very well.
Wow.
You have companies like Fortinet, Palo Alto, Platformization. These companies all want to sell a more comprehensive security solution so that their customers or our mutual customers have the right security posture.
And what brought you back to distribution? Why?
That's a question I've probably gotten 30 times. I think I answer it different ways while I've been out here at Inspire the last couple of days. It was a really hard decision. There was no right answer. I think just more broadly, when I started in tech in the channel over 20 years ago, I started in distribution. Then I worked for a couple years at a business partner. It's a company called Solutions 2. They're actually here. Todd Bowling, their CEO, is here this week. And it was really great because I learned how to sell to end customers. Right? We're always working with partners who are selling to end customers. So I had experience selling to everything from IT administrators to CIOs to line of business. And then when I came back to distribution, I always wanted to also get the vendor optic as well. So going to a vendor now, it's relatively rare when someone's worked at a partner, a distributor, and a vendor.
That's a good point.
And coming back, I'd say it wasn't easy. I wasn't running from everything. Checkpoint is amazing, great culture, great people. But coming back here and again, culture, people. And for me personally, it's just being in a North America headquartered company. There's a little bit more career path.
Yes.
And again, just you can look. I know people can't see, but you look around, you feel the energy and the vibe.
Great energy.
These are all great people.
Yeah. When a partner, specifically a managed service provider, that's my background.
Okay.
When they're looking to partner with distribution, what should they look for? It's a competitive space.
It's a very competitive space, and we all have our value. I never disparage our competitors, but TD Synnex is really, it's interesting because we not only work with pure play MSPs, but also with partners as they're going through transformation and trying to build MSP practices.
Yeah.
And we really, I'll stick to that piece just for a second. Those partners, it's a different business model. They all want to do it because they want that consistent revenue and profit stream.
Right.
It's good for many things. It's good for the data. I mean, if you ran an MSP business,
sure did.
You want that just for business operations, probably peace of mind as a business owner. But in addition to that, a lot of them are looking at valuation. I still think there's going to be a lot of consolidation in our industry. We see it. That really drives the multiplier for these businesses. And it's not only how they want to sell, but in many cases, it's how customers want to buy. So we can help them monetize it. What type of resourcing do you need? How do you market differently? How do you compensate your employees? We can actually take them through a practice building consultative workshop to help them, either build or accelerate that practice. Pure play MSPs, first of all, you have a one-stop shop here at TD Synnex. We're the largest global distributor in the world. So if they're consuming hardware to maybe build a managed network solution, maybe these are more of your traditional consumption or pay-as-you-go type models. We have all the right vendor relationships. And with our platform, Stream 1, we have just amazing capabilities that continue to get better. And it's everything from traditional configuration, management, consumption, to having the ability to white label, customize the experience. and PSA integrations, which you would know are extremely
Sure.
important as as an MSP.
Absolutely. So I started the MSP in 93, sold in 2019. I talk to MSPs every day. The three things that keep them up at night, Francisco, pretty last 6 or 7 years, pretty consistent. The first one, of course, is cybersecurity. If their clients get attacked, they're going to have to allocate resources. They're going to lose money. They're probably going to be fired. They may even be sued. Right? That's their number one. Number two is human capital. If their big techs leave, how they're going to replace them, unemployment in IT, and here in the States, 1% maybe. And then third is just general growth. They're usually tech-led. They're not strong at sales and marketing, typically speaking. Private equity has poured in hundreds of millions of dollars. Like you said, consolidation is happening. Their friends are selling their MSPs. How am I going to grow my MSP? How can TD Synnex help?
Yeah, so when it comes to growth, we can help in many different ways. I mean, we have different services, demand generation, marketing, a lot of collaboration events where we can help them grow their business. And, again, if they're looking to be sold, there's also things that we can do. I mean, we sit in a very unique place in the ecosystem where we have these different connections.
Interesting.
We don't broadcast it, but we usually know who wants to sell, who wants to buy, and we can help broker some of those conversations and relationships. Going back to security, we can help.
Yeah.
We can help when it comes to making sure they have the right security posture, the right governance. And in addition to that, that message also translates into an opportunity for them because, there's large customers that also work with MSPs, but the sweet spot that we found at least is more of that SMB mid-market.
Yeah.
And they have the same, let's say, same needs and requirements as these enterprise companies. So they need the same 24/7 support.
Yeah.
They need a secure environment. There's a lot of complexity. It's hard for them to keep up with it, hard for them to keep up with all the regulations. And you mentioned the talent shortage.
Yes.
They're also seeing talent shortage. So they want to outsource their security practice. So we've seen MSPs transform into MSSPs and then just a lot more MSSP opportunity in the market.
Amazing. Yeah, if anybody is situated to help those three things, I would think it's TD Synnex. I mean, that partner pavilion over there is going to have lots of great solutions.
And when it comes to the talent, that's one where, again, I'm 3 weeks back on the job. I have a lot of ideas. We team a lot with local universities, so we do hackathons. We're trying to create awareness. We're trying to acquire and attract the talent to TD Synnex. I think there's something possibly in the future where we can help acquire that talent.
Fantastic.
And maybe, help our partners, MSPs, MSSPs, possibly get access to that talent as well. And it becomes really interesting now with AI and agentic AI.
It sure does.
And how that could be, help with some of these workforce issues.
How's AI and agentic AI going to help distribution?
I would say I'd be lying if we had it completely figured out.
Right.
We're right now all trying to figure out AI. It's an enormous opportunity across the board. Every single vendor that we talk to, for the most part, has some type of AI strategy. In distribution, I think we can play a lot of different roles, but one of them, believe it or not, it's probably not that intuitive, is really just helping our vendors build their AI story and make it crystal clear on what is a standalone AI native solution and something that a partner would need very deep, consultative, like niche type skills. Well, it's usually a little bit longer of a sales cycle versus something that you can call it AI enabled, but makes a current solution better. So you could have agentic AI in a networking device that helps learn and route traffic in a better way. That's an easier, I'd call it more of a velocity play where partners can learn the value prop and position things differently and sell it really quickly, but it's still the AI story versus the other side, which again, you need a practice, you need an AI practice, you need deep consulting skills. So I think doing that, and then also, I'm not to get too philosophical, but
Please.
I think about AI, and I think about all the major shifts in technology over the years. I mean, you had mainframes, you went to distributed computing, all of a sudden we went from server proliferation to moving to the cloud.
Yeah.
And now it's like the next, revolution is AI. And when you have these massive changes in the industry, there's winners and losers. And I think really a role that we could play at TD Synnex is how do we ensure that our vendors that we work with and our partners are part of the winning side?
There's a recent announcement, or it may be done today, about AI pioneers. Do you know about it?
I do. I'm doing again. I'm just learning.
Okay.
It's really great. It's so we've again talking about attracting talent. So we have our AI Pioneers program. We've attracted some of these top AI talent, and then they've developed use cases because AI is all about the use cases.
Wow.
People, they like to talk about it, but it's really hard to go from POC to implementation. So what's relevant to your business? So we've had these AI pioneers and these folks come in and they've developed different agentic AI solutions that you're going to hear more about here over the next day and a half.
That's exciting.
It is exciting. The other piece that I'll just highlight with we also have an AI consultative workshop. And I'm probably going to get it wrong, but it's like an AI acceleration workshop. And what it does, it helps partners really kickstart things with their end customers so that you can go provide this consultative engagement where you start to learn about their business. What are some of the use cases that are relevant to their business? What are some of the potential solutions to really, again, get from that POC to an actual implementation? It's really good. I think it's, relatively inexpensive.
Right.
And something that's very tangible where you can create next steps and opportunities with our partners and their customers.
Very cool. I was also really impressed with the new technology report that was just released. Really impressive. A lot of research went into that.
It did. It's over 1,400 resellers in over 40 countries.
Amazing.
And I'm surprised that we haven't been doing this. Our distribution hasn't been doing more of this.
Yeah, good point.
Because they where we sit in the ecosystem, we're working with all these vendors, and we see multiple vendors selling through multiple partners to all these different end users. And the amount of data that we have it's impressive. So being able to do these studies and really take advantage of the ecosystem, I think we're going to continue to bring pretty interesting insights, which validates or brings new
attention.
Just new
insight, maybe
insights to what the market analysts are saying today.
Yeah. And you kind of go down a rabbit hole with it, right? Because it's all interactive, and you look at one thing and you kind of go down and down. It's like, wow, it's done really well too. Has there been anything, Francisco, in the last month or so you changed your mind on?
I wouldn't say change my mind, but what's impressive, I was only gone for 2.5 years.
Yes.
And it was literally to the day, 2.5
Really?
years. And the pace of distribution and what TD Synnex does and how fast they move. Again, this is it's the nature because you're dealing with so many different vendors and partners, and our margins aren't the same as the vendors and partners. It's impressive to me how fast they innovate and move and how much has changed just in 2.5 years.
Wow.
Just the programs and even the technologies that we're focusing on.
Right. That's a really good point. 2.5 years is a lifetime, isn't it?
Yeah, it's our CEO, Patrick Zammit, who said a couple of weeks ago, we had our quarterly executive management meetings, and we were talking about, it was a management meeting. He said, it was a scary statistic. He said, back when he was in school, he went to university, and what you learned was relevant for about 20 years.
Yeah.
It seems pretty good.
Yeah.
Come out of university, and it's relevant. He said, these days, with the kids, when they're coming out of university, it's maybe relevant for the next 4 years.
Wow.
So you talk about the pace of change. I know it's a cliche, but it's just change is constant. And how do we keep on evolving quickly so we continue to provide value, again, upstream and downstream?
Yeah. It's scary and exciting at the same time. What I love about technology is it constantly changes. What I hate about technology is that it constantly changes.
Exactly. I'll tell you what. I feel like we're using the muscles in our brains all the time.
That's right.
Getting dull. I found the technology by accident, and I have so much gratitude.
Yeah.
It's just such an interesting industry. There's so much opportunity, and I actually love the fact and you have to keep up with all of this
Right.
everything that's going on.
It excites me too. So I started my MSP in the 90s, was working way too hard. By the way, I sold it in 2019, but I was working way too hard, Francisco, not paying attention to myself, 14, 16-hour days. You're familiar with this. I'm in the doctor. She tells me that I'm at 340 pounds.
Oh, wow.
I had gained, just not paying attention to myself, terrible eating habits. But she says to me, if you don't lose this weight, you may not see your daughter graduate. So my daughter was just born. Scared the hell out of me. Yeah, it hit home. Spent the next 6-7 months, lost about 120 pounds, kept it off. You can't look at these things as finishing lines, right? You got to lifelong changes. So when I tell people this, they always say, well, what's your secret? What'd you do? And there's no secret. Discipline, right? Focus, willpower, routine. How does discipline play a role in your life?
It plays a big role. So it's just from the very basic things. It's funny. I had a boss a long time ago, and he said, being organized is discipline. He said, Francisco, you actually need to try to be organized. It's a skill.
Interesting.
It's actually a skill. And, I grew up playing sports. I think I learned a lot of discipline in sports, obviously in school. And I always have a plan. So I wake up in the morning, and first off, I know we just met, but I try to be a very positive person.
Yeah, you are positive.
I'm a glasses half full type person, and I try to spread that energy with everybody around me. So I wake up and I kind of visualize and I say, today's going to be a good day. It's like I'm Jedi mind tricking myself. Today's going to be a good day. I want to start off on a positive note. And I always, everybody has a different way that they go to market in the business management system, but I always have my big rocks. And I know that those are the things that I need to do and get accomplished, or we're not going to be successful as a team. So every single, day, week, month, we make sure they're making traction towards those big rocks. It's actually a book called Traction.
Oh, great book.
Which is an interesting book. I love it. A lot of our partners use that methodology.
Yes, EOS.
Yes, the entrepreneur operating system. And it really, I think it's meant to apply to companies that are more or less 500 million and less. But 90% of it applies to any company.
Yes.
So I use that call it my business life. My personal life, you said you're off balance. I think I get off balance sometimes. That's normal. It ebbs and flows. But I really try, my family is so important to me. To me, it's, God, family, friends, work.
Yeah.
And it's not that work isn't important,
God, family,
but I
friends,
really try to keep the balance in my life because, hopefully we all work to live and not living to work.
Right.
And you see that when people get off balance, it affects you physically. Very interesting.
It sure does. Yeah. I thank you so much for your time, Francisco. Anybody watching or listening and they want to get in touch with you, how can they do so? LinkedIn, maybe?
LinkedIn would be the best way. It's just Francisco Criado, now at TD Synnex, formerly at Checkpoint.
It's formerly at Checkpoint.
All right, Joey, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yes.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypinz.com. There you'll find lots of resources and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations.